Hey everyone, Cookiez here. So this is the guide for the Deranged and Crazy Archaeologist boss fights. These are both demi-bosses that are basically duplicates of one another, but one is out in the wilderness and one is located on Fossil Island, and they have slightly separate drop tables, which we'll go over in a minute. So the requirements, first of all, their shared requirements is going to be 50 magic for Iban Blast, or if you can't use that, you're going to want 59 magic in order to use Fire Blast. And then you're going to want 38 Herbalore in order to make prayer potions. And now their individual requirements, that's all for the Crazy Archaeologist since he's out in the wilderness. And then for the Deranged Archaeologist, you're also going to need Bone Voyage completed in order to access Fossil Island. And then it is recommended to have about 40 crafting so that you can craft dig site pendants to teleport to the location where he's at a lot easier. And besides that, we're going to go over their drop tables really quick. So this is the Deranged Archaeologist. His notable drops is a black d'hide body, which is very significant. And other than that, he drops some nice alchables in being a rune 2H sword and a rune sword. And that's pretty much the bulk of his like good drops. And then we have the Crazy Archaeologist. His notable drops are definitely the Amulet of Power, the rune crossbow, and the red d'hide body. And the rest, again, is kind of just random things that may or may not be good for you. So that is the notable drops. And now we're going to go over pretty much how to do the Deranged Archaeologist, since the Crazy Archaeologist, again, is just out in the wilderness. So you can still follow this guide to the T if you're planning to do the Crazy Archaeologist. The only difference is you need to find a method to travel to here, the ruins. Best way to get there is going to be using a burning amulet, which is very, very low crafting, but you need Shiloh Village completed in order to make them. And you're just going to teleport to the bandit camp and then run up here. Other than that, you can use the obelisk to get here. You can use the Archaeus spellbook or the Ancient spellbook with high magic to get there. Or you could just like walk from Edgeville up there, which, I mean, it's worth it if you're just going for one or two items from his drop table. So other than that, you can follow this guide to the T as far as like the item setup goes and everything like that. But that's where you'll be headed if you're going for the Crazy Archaeologist. So, going over the Deranged Archaeologist, it is recommended to have a dig site pendant. If you don't, that's okay. You're just going to walk to Fossil Island. And then for the inventory, you're going to want some alchable stuff or some runes to high alch. And then you're going to want runes to cast your whatever spell you're using, so Iban Blast or Fire Blast. And then you're going to want some prayer potions and some food. Bring a little bit of extra food if you are doing this for the first time. And the only limiting factor in this fight is the prayer potions, because all the damage you take in this fight is completely avoidable. You could literally take 0 damage the whole time you do it, if you do it perfectly. More than likely isn't going to happen, but either way, more prayer pots equals staying longer, so just find what works for you. But this is a nice little inventory setup I like to go with, since I do make mistakes quite frequently, so the extra food is nice. Now the gear setup, ignore the Borrow's Gloves and the Infinity Boots. I'm assuming you don't have those, but that's okay. The whole idea of the gear setup is magic bonus plus prayer bonus. So work that out however you can. Just get items that have magic bonus and also prayer bonus. So like a holy symbol would work great, a Nezanah helm, all that kind of stuff. So once we're ready to go, we're going to teleport to, we'll just start with the dig site. If you haven't done this before, you're going to go to the dig site. You're going to go to Fossil Island. And now we're just going to run over here into the swamp. Now be aware that, oh, also I completely forgot to mention, make sure you bring a axe and anti-poison for this, and you're going to want to bring that every time. So you're going to run over here, and there's going to be this mushroom here on the ground. You're going to want to jump on this if this is your first time going in here. And you're going to take a hefty sum of damage, so make sure that you are full hit points. You're going to take about half or more of your HP and damage. So you're going to land, and you take some damage, and then there's a magic mush tree here once you're done. So you just make sure you use it, and then essentially from now on you can now teleport to the sticky swamp, which will take you right here. So you can just teleport to the Fossil Island next time that you want to go here, and use the magic mush tree to end here without taking any damage. So we're just going to eat that back, because we can take damage on the way there. And now we just need to chop these little tendrils down. There's only certain ones that can be chopped. These monsters will spawn, that's okay. Just make sure you have auto retaliate off. And then we're just going to run through this tar, and we're just basically clearing a path if anything's in our way, which that should be the only thing in our way for the rest of the time. This can also hit us just like that, and we just drink an anti-poison for that, eat a little more food, and then you're going to see this little log down here, this decaying trunk. We're going to go ahead and climb over it, and we are now in the boss's room, so we're going to activate Protect from Missiles, and we're going to run over here. And basically, every time the boss says learn to read, we need to run to a different area. So you can see I have 2 tiles marked on the floor here that are decently spaced out. So every time he says learn to read, I'm just going to be ready to click here. So otherwise, we're just sitting here taking no damage. Learn to read, we're going to move. He's going to throw those little explosives down that can do a very, very hefty sum of damage. They can hit you upwards to like 45s, so make sure you are paying attention to this. The boss in the wilderness hits a lot less if you mess up, but it's the exact same mechanic, except that instead of saying learn to read, he is going to say, I'll have to look up the quote really quick. There's learn to read, we're going to move. Worst case is if you could just find the quote on the wiki that the wilderness boss says. And that's it. We just keep Protect from range on, and we take 0 points of damage as we keep hitting him. Learn to read. We're going to move. That almost hit us that time because we were almost not paying attention. And there we go. And there's our drop, some Numulite, and some sharks. And that's the boss, and then he'll respawn. I believe his spawn timer is about 25 seconds or so. So we just keep our prayers off and then just be ready to turn them back on shortly. And then we just keep going back and forth, and he'll always spawn like right around here in this little patch of openness in the floor. So just don't be standing there near there because you don't ever want to be in melee with him or he will hurt quite bad. So there he goes, he spawns. And we just rinse and repeat and stay here as long as we have food and prayer potions. So we'll just do one more kill, learn to read, we move. And I just like marking the tiles on the floor here because it just gives me a distance to travel to, like back and forth really easily. And to mark tiles, you just hold shift and right click and press mark tile. If you're using Rune Light, of course. Learn to read, we're gonna move. Because we know how to read. Learn to read, go to move. And there we go, 5 uncut diamonds. So that is how you do the crazy and deranged archaeologist. Let me look up that quote actually really quick for the crazy archaeologist. He says, "Rain of knowledge," and that's the same exact move where you move out of the way, and then it's the little bouncing fireballs. So for the deranged archaeologist, it is learn to read, and for the crazy archaeologist, it is rain of knowledge. So hopefully this video helps out. Hopefully you can go grab some nice early game loot because their loot tables are actually really nice for some like unique drops and stuff like that. So thanks for watching the video, and I will catch you guys all next time.